we all are a part of that divinity. But some of us are so sattvic and some of us are so tamasic. So how to understand my soul tattva and how to understand my own soul?
Good values, for example. Oh, I am a good Hindu, for example. But being arrogant about your goodness, about belonging to a certain religion, or I'm a good Muslim, egoistic about it, arrogant about it, it separates you from rest of humanity.
Exactly.
So in one way, if you look at it, religion actually divides people.
How to really understand a good ego versus a bad ego?
Let me give you an example. That if you're a flute player, a master flute player, next day when you have to perform same raga in a different city, would you be happy with your performance of yesterday evening? You'll say, oh, I need to do better now.
Exactly.
That's also the expression of ego, but for betterment. But to think that in this whole country, no one is better than me. I'm the best flute player in the whole world. It keeps on escalating.
Yeah.
That is arrogance, gammon. And that creates a lot of problems.
What is love according to you? And how can I, as a spiritual seeker, or anybody in my audience, experience the true essence of it?
Everyone has their own perception. And the same person will express same love differently under different situations. So I would say love is not just one thing, it's a whole spectrum of it. Like light. How would you define light? Light makes things visible. Love makes humanity humane.
Hi, spiritual seekers. A very warm welcome to your favorite spiritual podcast, Speaking Tree, and this is your host, Rangoli Sharma. As you can see that today we are filming into a completely new location. And let me tell you, today I'm sitting at one of the most greenest places I've ever been to. Today we are at Kanha, Shantivanam in Hyderabad. And a very special guest has joined me today. The last time we met, the gentleness of his smile and the simplicity of his wisdom is still etched into my heart. And I'm personally very excited for this particular podcast because he is a renowned spiritual leader. He's an author and current president of the Ramchandra Mission. I would like to welcome DAAJI on Speaking Tree. And today's beautiful look is sponsored by Isadora Life. DAAJI, a very warm welcome. I'm so pleased and so honored to have this discussion with you today. How are you?
Thank you, Rangoli. So thank you for having us and welcome to Kanha.
The vibe of this place, DAAJI, I can definitely say that my spiritual quotient has strengthened from the time I entered this place. And I'm still absorbing the spiritual vibes of this place. As a spiritual seeker myself, I just love being here.
It's not because we have been working on it ourselves since its inception, but many people who come together, lakhs and lakhs of people over the last, I would say, 12 years at this location, meditating every single day. You can imagine the kind of atmosphere it can create, and especially the greenery, the rainforests, and so many other things of this location. They reinforce the spiritual charge of this location, and you can actually feel it. Even if you are not a believer of spirituality or of divinity or of God, you can still feel it, and despite of your denial, you will experience tranquility here, guaranteed.
Definitely, DAAJI. I'm sure that this place has got the vibe. And, today, as we are sitting here and we are talking about spirituality, there are a lot of things that I want to discuss with you today, and especially our audience who is a genuine spiritual seeker. I'm sure that they are equally looking forward to this podcast as much as I am. So we are going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to talk about soul. I'm going to talk about heart. I'm going to talk about love. Because, I feel they're all a part of our spiritual journey. So to begin with, DAAJI, I feel that, when we talk about heart, how can we forget love? Love is one of the most beautiful human emotions that we ever experience. But, maybe fortunately or unfortunately, some people spend their whole lives trying to understand what is love. How can I experience the true essence of it? Some go to devotional love and bhakti love and divine love. And some think, what is it? What is love according to you? And how can I, as a spiritual seeker, or anybody in my audience, experience the true essence of it?
Love is an inner cry for the ultimate.
Wow.
And it expresses in many different ways in the mundane world. For example, the way the electric current expresses itself differently. If it passes through a light bulb, when it passes through the heater, it passes through the air conditioner, toaster oven, it reflects according to who receives this electric transmission.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, love also. Imagine love between a child and mother.
Yeah. Some would call it unconditional.
Unconditional. I think not some, almost all will call it unconditional love. The love between Guru and Shishya, unparalleled. Sometimes I would say it surpasses even the love between mother and a child, if you find a right Guru. Then there is romantic expression of love.
Yeah.
Friendship or affection between two friends, love between husband and wife, love of a craving soul for the ultimate. They are expression of the same thing but with a different frequency.
Truly.
Right? So it depends who is talking about love. Everyone has their own perception. And the same person will express same love differently under different situations. So I would say love is not just one thing, it's a whole spectrum of it. Like light. How would you define light? Light makes things visible. Love makes humanity humane.
Wow.
And ultimately, if possible, goal is to become or transform, mutate that love and make it divine.
Divine love. What is divine love according to you?
It's difficult to define that one. There is no vocabulary for that except to say it's divine love. One that transcends even mother-child love, one that even transcends Guru and Shishya love. Imagine for a moment a tree giving you mangoes or cow giving you milk, and ultimately later on she sacrifices her life as well for meat for some people.
Yeah.
Sacrifice also is a very small word when it comes to divine. To me, it's everything. That is existence in itself. Without that, no one can exist. It's a force without any force. For example, when you see things with your eyes, many people have eyes, but because of some issues at birth or because of some injury, nerves are cut.
Yeah.
And you cannot see, though you have eyes. What is it that makes you see things? You say, okay, my mind, and what is it that notices the thinking of the mind? That I perceive this vision, I see this thing. Who is that? Who sees that? Well, who is that hears? Who is it that gives me life?
I think the cosmos within us. That's
Even
my,
that.
yeah,
Who made this cosmos? Who supports this cosmos?
a supreme power.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's a life force, Adi Shakti, which was there before the creation, which is there now, and it will continue.
Yeah.
Right? So that Adi Shakti, or that life force, is within all of us. Without that, we cannot exist. If you remember, in our last conversation, that podcast, we mentioned about how mother expresses joy despite of pain of delivery as soon as she hears the crying sound of a baby.
Yes.
Right? Though she's under so much of pain, the cry of the little one makes mother smile. But imagine if baby was not crying at the moment of birth. Doctors would go crazy because something is wrong. They will make the baby, try to make the baby cry by, making baby breathe or resuscitate or, stimulate the heart. And if still baby does not cry, then mommy would cry. But that force that should have come along did not come. And it is with all of us, even now, until we breathe our last. One without whom we cannot even exist remains with us. That is Atman.
Yes.
It's within us. It's not outside us. The deity that gives you life is not outside yourself. This is the message of Upanishads, our ancient heritage, if you like to call it. But see the tragedy today. We are always seeking that divinity outside us.
Yeah.
You see, we construct so many temples,
Yes.
trying to find God there.
Exactly. In murtis.
Imagine your husband is at home and you try to find him in the mall. Who would you find? He'll curse you and say, Rangoli, you may run now from this house. You're trying to look for me outside in the mall.
Yeah, I'm here, right by your side.
So, Atman within, when you try to search for that ultimate outside, do you think that beloved will be happy or grant you peace? It cannot. It makes you more restless.
Yeah.
So, moment you turn inward towards that Antaryamin, one who dwells within, it's ours peace automatically. एकदम शांति का अनुभव होना शुरू हो जाता है जब आपका attention inward हो जाता है instead of outside.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of osmosis between your true self and your superficial self.
Wow. Osmosis between your true self and your superficial self.
And that osmosis somehow creates many emotions in our life. And that flow of osmosis is what I call the flow of love.
Lovely. And I do believe, DAAJI, somewhere that, you need to have that spiritual evolution, or you need to evolve into your spiritual journey so much that you experience that divinity within yourself, as we talked about. So how does one evolve in this spiritual journey now that we are talking about the inward journey? And from here, I would like to ask, what is soul according to you? How does it decide its tattva? Although we all are divine, we all are a part of that divinity. But some of us are so sattvic and some of us are so tamasic. So how to understand my soul tattva and how to understand my own soul? That will be my next question.
Self trying to understand self. It's a troublesome thought.
Definitely.
It's like, can your eyes see itself?
No.
It cannot. You need something else to see it with. And still it will not be exactly 360-degree understanding of your eyes. Though it is physical, limited, still you are not able to understand. You may have to take it out but then it's no longer an eye.
Yeah.
Soul, can it evolve? It's a very difficult topic, at the same time very fascinating as well. I would say superficially, soul need not evolve because it is pure in its nature. Body needs evolution. Body cannot so easily evolve over the limited time that we have on this planet.
Yeah.
It can only age. Soul need not evolve. It is pure. Then what evolves in between?
Exactly.
It is our ability to perceive, ability to become aware. That is consciousness. But consciousness too also need not evolve, because it's part and parcel of the soul. Then what are we talking about? Evolution of consciousness. If it cannot evolve, what are we struggling with?
Exactly. Why are we suffering so much?
It is because the avarans, the layers of impurities and complexities that we have created, it remains precipitated. It clouds our awareness. It settles on our consciousness. And consciousness during this transmigration of soul also is carried. Our tendencies are embedded in it. What in our Hindu culture we call it samskaras.
Right.
Right? If you are born in a particular circumstance, in a particular family, you are conditioned according to the thoughts, feelings, cultural values of that family and the community.
Exactly.
That influences your mind, your consciousness. Okay? Now, to see things as they actually are, you need to remove these tendencies so you can see clearly. For example, the classical example from Upanishad, it's like a lantern covered around with the glass. The soot of the lamp, diya, if you don't clean this glass, will blacken it so much that one day you won't be able to see the light.
Clearly.
Right? Such is the case with our Atman. As we pass through this life, we collect so many emotions, feelings, good and bad, that influence our consciousness. Some in good way, some in a very bad way. And that changes our perception. Let me give one example. There was a scientific study on how this conditioning, upbringing, changes your responses to an outside situation. For example, if you keep one person in a chamber and torture that person and make this torture visible to 7 different people with different religious background.
Yeah.
Suppose you put a sadhu in that chamber, for torture chamber, and you ask a Christian person, a Jewish person, a believer or non-believer, Hindu maybe, another sadhu, maybe a fakir, maybe another Muslim gentleman or a woman, and see everyone's response.
Yeah.
They might say it is really, really bad. because it's easier to figure out and manipulate your expressions. But when you actually put them through functional MRI, where it measures your thought pattern, it you will not be able to suppress those emotions. And when you measure it through fMRI, you will see how some people are happy, this poor sadhu being tortured. Some people will feel so sad. Some people will start crying. How the same thing expressed differently by different people, actually measured through fMRI, your brain activities at that moment. It is all showing, that your upbringing, your conditioning changes your world perspective. So we become either sattvic or tamasic because of this conditioning.
Okay.
So it's not only good values, for example. Oh, I am a good Hindu, for example. But being arrogant about your goodness, about belonging to a certain religion, or I'm a good Muslim, egoistic about it, arrogant about it, it separates you from rest of humanity.
Exactly.
So in one way, if you look at it, religion actually divides people.
It does.
The purpose is something else. Religion is supposed to unite one and all. See, if you see this word religion,
Yeah.
religion, religion is derived from legare. Legare means to join. Like legare also, you heard of this word ligament.
Yeah. Yes.
Muscle ligament that joins, right? Like that. Relegare, rejoining religion. It's supposed to join all of us.
Exactly.
But it divides. So the purpose is lost. So how can you find love where there is individuality? I'm separate from you. I'm different from you. Ipso facto, this differentiation will bring this aspect of I'm better or you are better.
So I'm superior.
Yeah. Or even if you consider you are superior, then too it creates problems. You are superior, ipso facto, that will prompt you with this feeling of inferiority. You lose peace of mind. Love is not going to make you lose peace of mind. It is this individualism, separation, is the problem today in the modern world. Everyone wants to be specifically individual, superior, different. Even between husband and wife. Simple things like your baby's nose. When they are, having a dinner time talk, oh, my baby has my eyes.
Yeah.
She doesn't have your eyes. Over that they fight. Arguments. So I see how far this ego can take you.
But DAAJI, from here, I think some people would say that ego is somewhere a conditional part of us. Like somewhere ego lets us draw boundaries and it gives you a healthy sense of self. Is that also true? Like how to really understand a good ego versus a bad ego?
Well, that is very well described in our Hindi literature. There are few words like garva, abhiman,
Yeah.
gamand, swabhiman. There are many faces of ego. Let me give you an example. That if you are a flute player, a master flute player, classical, North Indian classical music, you happen to perform and audience is giving you standing ovation. You love it so much that yes, it was a great performance. You feel happy. There is nothing wrong about that. Next day, when you have to perform same raga in a different city, would you be happy with your performance of yesterday evening? You'll say, oh, I need to do better now.
Exactly.
That's also the expression of ego, but for betterment. But to think that in this whole country, no one is better than me. I'm the best flute player in the whole world. It keeps on escalating.
Yeah.
That is arrogance, gaman. And that creates a lot of problems. So it depends from which angle, from which height are you looking at yourself.
DAAJI, now that we talked about sanskars, I want to go back before our soul takes birth here, like before our soul takes a human body. How does a soul decides that this is the set of parents I would have? Like, what is it beyond karma? You know, they say that you get into certain circumstances, you get a condition of a family, you get your parents, you get your siblings on the basis of your past life karma. But you know, there must be one life, the first human life, where you have not created any karma, any good karma or any bad karma. Then how does the soul decides what is right for it?
That's impossible to answer, that one.
Really?
That the first soul without parents, how did it manifest? Impossible to answer. When parents were not there, how are you going to say? It's like chicken and egg
Yeah,
situation.
it's one of
Which
those
came
questions. Yes.
first? Right? Chicken came first or egg? Without egg, there could not have been chicken. And without chicken, there is no egg. So how would you solve this riddle?
Yeah.
My master used to say, he says, God was not a fool to create a big tree if he could create a small seed and allow it to grow.
Yeah.
So according to him, seed came first. Your question of soul, how does it decide to take a birth in a particular family?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, let's say they have a particular signature. Every soul has a different frequency,
Exactly.
different vibratory level. Because of different loads of sanskars they all carry within themselves. Is there someone guiding, like a traffic light, go to this family or go to that family? No. Have you seen in science experiments how iron foils are automatically attracted towards magnet? None of them have brains. None of them have so-called consciousness the way we have.
Yeah.
Yet they are pulled together. What is it that drives them together? We say it's a magnetic or electric field around them, positive and negative attracts them. Okay. Science. How would you describe the science of soul's incarnation?
Yeah.
Look at it from this perspective, that a soul with a particular frequency or a field, if it does not match with the parent's frequency, it will not descend. It cannot fit in like lock and key.
True.
So it is the preparation of parents at the moment of conception. But most of parents, I would say 99.99% of individuals, they don't know.
Yeah. What kind of soul they are attracting?
Yeah. That moment is so intense, they forget each other also. They know only about themselves. They want more pleasure individually rather than thinking of the other person. Moreover, they don't have this idea of being absorbed in divinity at that moment. If both individuals can retain that divinity awareness at that moment of conception, then the field that is created between them, around them, will attract the soul that matches that frequency.
Wow, makes sense.
If you are mating like animals, huffing, puffing, and whatnot, then you attract soul that matches that frequency. Afterward, when the soul is born, where the soul is born is of least matter. Of course, stars also influence, but the biggest influence is created by the samskaras they bring in from previous life. To give an example, in Mahabharata, Vichitravirya, he could not conceive. He was impotent. There were no semen banks in those days. So they were looking for a live donor. And who better than Sage Vyasa? So his mother figured it out. Let's invite Sage Vyasa to mate with these two queens. So at a particular muhurtam, auspicious day and moment, he was summoned from the forest to mate with the first queen, then the second queen. When he arrives to her chamber, she is kind of disgusted, and with that disgust, she closes her eyes and allows things to happen. See, they make love, and child that was conceived, you all know, it is Dhritarashtra, blind.
Yeah.
He goes to second queen's chamber. As soon as she looks at him, her blood circulation freezes. Her skin becomes pale. She is so much emotionally disturbed. Not with this fellow. But orders were there from mother-in-law. She fulfills it. Child with that attitude, that field that was created because of her sentiments, not with this fellow, her blood circulation stops, becomes pale. Child is also affected. He is born leukodermic. These two queens had a plan that we don't want to repeat this exercise again. So they requested Dasi, maid, why don't you make love with this Vyasa? Her attitude was different. Her sentiment was different. She felt, oh, ahovagya. I'm so fortunate to make love with this rishi. Child that was born because of this attitude that created a different field altogether. Vidur was born, the wisest of the lot.
Yeah.
Right? Even this is mythological. But when you see science, when we study science, epigenetic science especially, meaning how the external conditions change the genetic expression. Epigenetic is all about that. How genetics is affected by the external circumstance. Even simple things like temperature, humidity will change the whole thing. Dr. Lipton, he did a lot of research on this from 70s and finally concluded with few experiments he had conducted. One was in ghettos of Brooklyn, and another was mothers to be who are in a better suburban neighborhoods. When he studied this, the mothers to be who would sleep waiting for their husbands, God knows when they would come home, violent neighborhood. If at all he comes shouting, screaming with a gun in his hands and sleeping, allowing that gun under his pillow, imagine mother to be the level of stress she faces. And whenever you are in a stressful situation, what happens? Your neurotransmitters like adrenaline, cortisol, they are flowing in your blood. What happens to the embryo that is growing within? It will also receive the same hormones, same neurotransmitters. Its effect is like this. When such stress producing hormones, neurotransmitters are secreted, you tend to run from a situation or you try to hide or you try to fight. There is either a fight situation or take a flight or you try to hide. This is what in science calls it sympathomimetic response. Now when you have to run, what happens? Your legs needs more blood. When you have to fight, your hands needs more blood. Sympathetic response is it's an animalistic response. And our amphibian brain, the hind part of the brain, is in the back. So all these parts of the body receives more blood at the cost of other organs. Now what happens when the blood is diverted from the limbs, legs and hands? Or it is diverted into limbs, hands and legs. Other organs don't get enough.
Exactly. They would be deprived of it.
The digestive system is deprived. Your respiratory system is deprived. Your frontal brain is deprived. And frontal brain is all about mental development of a child. And if this suffers because of lack of blood supply, frontal cortex, then the thinking ability will be suppressed. Imagine child to be born. What sort of mental abilities will be born with? Hands will be longer than the hands of parents. The digestive system will be affected. They won't be able to digest properly like normal people. So the indirect impact of stress in a family, it has a far-reaching effect to your next generations.
Definitely, DAAJI. And if I conclude for my viewers that somewhere it's all about the energy and frequency that brings in the alignment that we talked about.
And that's why I think our elders, बुजुर्ग लोग थे, बहुत अक्लमंद थे. You see, we have a system, I don't know if it is there in North India, but Gujarat है, Telangana में है, Maharashtra में है, as soon as father-in-laws or mother-in-law comes to know that my daughter-in-law is pregnant, they celebrate it. This news is celebrated, and then with a lot of love and respect, she is sent to her parents' place.
Okay.
Where it is expected to have a better environment. Even though your husband's place, there is no lack of love. But in an agrarian society where daughter-in-law is there, who has just conceived, she will always worry also that whole family is working and I am not working. She will feel guilty. Though she is pregnant, when she is with her parents' place, this guilt will not come.
She is in her own comfort zone.
She is in her own comfort. She will be pampered. No one will criticize her, except perhaps Bhavi or someone.
Funny. Yeah.
But more, I would say the wisdom was this, that pregnancy time is the time it must be stress-free. And why just pregnancy time? Even before pregnancy, unless you have that state of vibratory state, How are you going to fake a sattvic state at the moment of conception? You cannot pray and say, now I'm going to have I'm going to invite sattvic soul.
Yeah. It has to be a journey.
It has to be a journey, yeah. And same thing happens. You may ask how the soul is born in a particular family. What will happen to the soul that departs?
Yeah.
Anyone comes to take you up and take you to either hell or heaven or a particular dimension? No. Soul reaches to that dimension that matches its own frequency. If you're a pure spiritual soul, it will find its own dimension. Automatically. No one has to come and take you up there.
No doot has to come.
How many doots otherwise? For every soul you need one doot.
Yeah. Exactly. I think, DAAJI, these are some of the questions of life that you definitely don't have a clear answer for, like the question of death. How is the journey of a soul after death? How does it decide to come back? Like, there are some souls who seem to have that patrata or that capability of moksha, as they say. But still, there are these souls who choose to come back. So, who are these souls?
I call it the liberated souls.
The liberated souls.
They are one who has attained moksha. To my understanding, it does not mean that you will not be born again. But you have a choice to be born or not to be born. You are free to choose.
And that's moksha, when you're actually free.
Yeah. My Guruji would put it even brilliantly, even more brilliantly. He'll say it is the freedom from the freedom itself.
Wow. Mukti se mukti.
हाँ, उससे भी परे हो जाता है ऐसे. Now, when we study these spacecrafts, and they are launched into orbit, Earth's orbit, and going beyond the Earth's orbit, let's say going to the moon. Apollos, they need escape velocity. Otherwise, it comes back to the Earth. That escape velocity of the soul determines whether you will be liberated or not.
Oh, wow.
That escape velocity is determined by your own weight, how light you are.
Wow, that's one of the most beautiful answers I've ever heard.
How light means, do you have any samskaras in you that brings you back to fulfill them? So, if you have really, really, really bad samskaras, which are heavy on you, you cannot be lifted to the liberated state. You gravitate back to the earth.
Yeah.
If you have performed a lot of good karmas, that also has its weight. That also seeks fulfillment because of the good karmas. That's why Krishna says, perform karma in a way that there is no impressions left either of good or bad. When you do good thing, and you become aware that, oh, I did such and such a good thing. My name is on such and such a temple, in this hospital ward.
I'm such a charitable person.
That is also ego. He says whether you are bound by iron chain or bound by golden chain. Bandhan to bandhan hi hai.
Exactly.
So we have to lead a life as per Krishna's philosophy. He says, lead a life in a way like lotus leaf in a dirty pond, unaffected.
Yeah. But DAAJI, I think so many people would have this understanding that we should lead our lives in such a way that it's a detached life. But when you come into this realm, this 3D world, and you make connections, it's actually not possible. Even the wisest people, they get attached and they do not live that detached state.
Let's keep this for next episode. How to lead a life so as not to form such burdens,
Exactly.
so that we don't create complexities and impurities, so that they don't become the seeds for the future growth or future possibility. So it's very simple also. The heartfulness way of lifestyle is suited only for that purpose. How to arrive at lotus leaf-like condition.
Definitely, Daji. In the coming episodes, we'll definitely understand how to do that karmic settlement and, how to balance your karma so that you do not live an attached life. So, Daji, it was a pleasure talking to you and, being here at Kana. I'm just so pleased and so joyful after this discussion. I'm sure, just like my audience, just like the spiritual seekers there, so many of my answers as well are answered. So, thank you so much for inviting us here and giving us this opportunity.
We take up next one. Loving detachment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you tell me in the comment section, how did you like today's podcast? Keep adding your questions in the comment section that I should discuss in the coming podcast with DAAJI. Do share this podcast as much as you can. And I'm sure, just like me, you must have got many of your answers as well. This is your host, Rangoli Sharma. I'll keep bringing you such insightful episodes on Speaking Tree. I'll see you in another podcast. Namaste.